Well, hello, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we are into 2019. This is a bonus broadcast for those of you who asked for it. Hi, Jamie. Good to see you. Happy New Year to you, too. And for those of you who may be watching for the first time, let me just explain how we do this. The first part of the broadcast is always news, views, and updates so that we can keep up to date with our extended family. We're like a big family here. We go through good days and bad days and life in general, and that's how we love it. And so we do that at the first couple of minutes. If you're watching on the replay and you don't want to see that, then you can just see that it'll say from 00 to this time, news, views, and updates, and then from another time onwards, the topic. The topic of today, we'll be talking New Year's Eve, or rather New Year type quotes that I've found from around the world. So hopefully that will get our minds thinking, and we'll get some nice input on that one. Jamie, it's really good to see you. I wanted to let you know, because I know that you understand what happened to me. For those of you who don't know, I got diagnosed with diabetes last week, or the week just before that. I should actually keep a note of the day that happened. It was just before Christmas. But, you know, the interesting thing, Jamie, is I refuse to see it as the things I can't have. I am really working on what can I have. And I want to tell you that is so heavily in my mind all the time. Don't tell me I can't have this. I then start looking at how do I need to adjust this so I can have it. For example, today, Jamie, hi, Jody, I actually had egg on toast, which I knew normally wouldn't be something that I would consider because the toast is not good for me. And so what I did, hi, Nana. So what I did is I took a couple of slices of a Kaiser bun and did egg on there. And, you know, that's my new go-to. A Kaiser bun is my new loaf of bread. And I slice it like a loaf of bread. And those are my, when I want something on toast or something on bread, that's the size that I have. And it's working really well for me. I managed to, I managed to get egg on toast for under 30 carbs. Yeah, the Kaiser bun is a really nice bun as well. But, you know, my problem is I've got a whole stack of them frozen in my freezer, and I'm not going to throw them out. I'm going to use them. So I allow myself one bun a week. That's what I'm doing. So first of all, you know, it's interesting, Jamie, because what I'm finding is I can actually have almost anything. I just need to be really aware of how much. For example, I was given black licorice, and I love black licorice. I was given black licorice for Christmas. And what I've done is I've taken the packet and put them into little containers. Apparently a serving of those is 12. And funny enough, 12 of those wasn't too bad. My normal thing, of course, is just to consume the whole packet, which I can do. You know, I can inhale licorice. It's not a maybe with me. I can inhale it. And I don't know if anybody else relates to it. I'm sure Nana doesn't. She's got hers under control. But, you know, for me, it's still something that I can inhale. So learning to just take the packet, divide it up into little, little cups where I can put 12 in, and now those are put away as treats. Yeah, Nana's saying she has one a month. Hi, Linda. You're learning portion control. Yes, I'm learning carb control. I'm not worrying about the portions. Well, actually, automatically that becomes portion control now that I think about it. So anyway, to be able to do eggs on toast for under 30 carbs, I reckon was pretty good going. And I want to tell you, I'm enjoying the food a lot more. I don't know if any of you can relate to that. So just to keep everybody, news, views, and updates. Lauren is still in hospital. Well, you know, thank you, Nana. I appreciate that support. Tomorrow I will go and have my blood test done, and that's when all the real work starts. As you know, I really wanted to start being on the ball before I had that first test done, so that I wouldn't find what's coming such a big shock. And that's really exciting. You're still finding mac and cheese as a trigger for you. Yep. And Jody, again, when I make mac and cheese, I put it into 1 cup mason jars and freeze it. Or I have 1 cup that I'm allowed to eat and the rest gets frozen. It's not go back for seconds anymore. And the funny thing is 1 cup is not good for you, but it's not as bad as, what probably was 4 cups before. Well, Nana, forgive me if I said you've got everything under control, but you really know your body well now, and you really know what you can eat and what you can't. Is really what I meant. You're failing at eating vegetables with it. Why would you spoil a good mac and cheese by eating vegetables with it? What I would do is eat the vegetables first. Right? Because, and then I'd eat the mac and cheese. You had scalloped potatoes, yes. And I think we should be, there is no, I want to tell you, hi there to Beth and to Marie. I refuse to have this be what I can't have. I am going to make this year absolutely what I can have. And, otherwise I won't do it. That's the scary thing. I know that I will just, be far worse off if I know what I can have. Yeah, you had scalloped potatoes, and how good, exactly. And, to me, again, it's not that you're going to have them every day. And if you only have a cupful, boy, do you enjoy them. It's like, but you're learning to make it for 2 people. I'm about to do a little series, Nana, of how I've learned to cook smaller. You know what I mean? Because that's the trick, is stop. I used to cook meals that, would feed, a couple of thousand. Yeah, it's a real treat. I'm finding that I really enjoy the food a lot more. So, and Beth, I don't know how in my lifetime I will ever thank you. Talking about an angel. Hi, Katie. Talk about an angel coming into my midst. I cannot tell you, you could not have come into my life at a better time, Beth. You, with your, non-stop portion control, prepping, pre-prepping, all the things I was rolling my eyes at, and then one day I went, I know how to do this. And so, it's really interesting. Hi, Ty. Good to see you, honey. Big hugs to you there in Montana. All right, so it looks like we got all sorts of people. I'm glad we did the broadcast. By the way, the funniest thing, any of you ever have an oops moment where you're going, oh, well, here I was on a mission. I was busy doing and really getting, got my sort of week under control here. And I was really moving along nicely. And then Yvonne downstairs sent me a text, and the text said, your turkey's ready. And if you come down now, you can enjoy it before the broadcast. Now, I was knee deep into all of this. Do you think I remembered, A, that Yvonne was cooking turkey tonight? No. And B, that I had a broadcast tonight? Nope. So I texted back and said, thank you for reminding me of both those. Oops. And however, the interesting thing was, for those of you who were around for my mind mapping, I had already mind mapped today's broadcast. How about that? Anybody here that wasn't there for the mind mapping? Yeah, thank you, Yvonne. I gave her a big hug. I cannot tell you what a big, and by the way, the turkey was awesome. And do you know what I had with my turkey? Now, this is how I've changed. I had a beautiful slice of butterball turkey, about that big, and 24 grapes. And I sprinkled some feta cheese on top. So tasty. All right. Was anybody not here for the mind mapping? I hate it when I talk about things that nobody else knows what I'm talking about. So if there was anybody who wasn't here for that, I will quickly give a recap. And okay, I'm going to wait for a while. I'll do the birthdays and then I'll be able to tell what's going on. First of all, we want to wish Nyasha a happy birthday. Was it today or tomorrow, Jody? I think it's today, isn't it? And I'm sorry to jump that one on you yet again, but I know I've got the notes and I know I didn't find it, obviously. Today, that's okay, good. I was right. All right, that's good to hear. Thank you so much. All right, so Linda, this is a mind map. All right. I'm going to show you very quickly because you're probably not the only one. So in a mind map, you have a subject. Now, this could be today's broadcast. Okay. And then you say to yourself, okay, who, what, why, where, when, how? Who needs to be there? Well, obviously Sal does, and hopefully a few viewers. So I know Sal, and then I also know viewers. That's important. Why? Because this tells me on this one, put up notification or put up warning, right? And that means I've got to do warning. Okay, so that was who? What? Cast. And now what do I need for the cast? I need birthdays. I need quotes. Getting the idea, Linda? It's called a mind map. And what we did, if you're interested in it, we mind mapped. I showed you how I mind mapped about half of my 2019. Okay. Does that help you at all? But I did it a lot more slowly. And I took examples of different people with their different goals. Got it? Hi, Lauren. Now, as I said to everybody, thoughts and prayers for Lauren. She's stuck in hospital. It's a pleasure, Linda. It works really well. And by the way, I've got it here, Linda. If you want to know, I actually found a program that you can do it with. So you can end up with a sheet that looks like this. That's my health one. Okay? And it's a free program. So if anybody's interested, okay, here are another couple of goals that I've got going on. All right. My education started. It's a lot bigger than that now, I can tell you. And this one, this is more of my education one. Okay, so you start at the word 2019. And that's what I showed. Okay, here, hang on a second. Beth, I can show you. I had it here for everybody else. Yeah. Somewhere here. I had the simple one. Okay, what you do, free mind is what it's called. Thank you very much. Beth, I want to know about I just put one bubble out that said health, one that said finances, one that said family, one that said friends, one that said education, one that said spiritual, one that said health. Do you understand? I just took the major, I think I got them all in there. DearMamaSal was another one. Okay, so I had a complete, that's where I started. And then I asked myself, what do I want to achieve in terms of health? And I'd put out the next bubble. And then when I got all those, one thing that I wanted to achieve in each of those, then I just extrapolated it out. And boy, and this free mind, you can go, if you like computer programming type program, if you like programs, it's a really good program to play with. And it's a great way to sit down and just work things out. By the way, I'm amazed how much information I am now storing on there. In other words, I'll see something that I want, but I'm not ready for it yet, but I see it. And what I do is I cut and paste it into my big mind map. Let me show you, for example. I can't show you because I'd need to print it. Never mind. All right, so birthdays, the only one that we know of, as far as I know, is Nyasha's, and it's today. So happy birthday. if she happens to hear this one. I hope you all had a good New Year. Did any of you go out or do anything special? Yes, Beth. I mean, a story of your life, right? You're actually, in a way, I think it will slow you down in some ways, because what I've found is I can keep a lot of the extraneous stuff on the mind map, but this is the stuff that I'm working on. Right, the rest of it's just put away. I won't forget about it because it's stuck away, and I'll look at it every month. The kids came home. Was it wonderful, Nana? I know how much you love it when they come home. I think at some level, Nana, there's part of me that goes, the kids came to visit you. They actually have a home somewhere else. Or the kids came to visit my home. Oh, Tyler stayed in and behaved. That's the first level of maturity, Ty, from my experience. You know, when you actually don't think about going out for New Year because it doesn't, you know, not a real big thing suddenly. Yeah, you know you're maturing when. Okay. Yes, Linda stayed in her PJs all day. I went to bed. I'm not joking. I went to bed and I was literally aiming to get to sleep before 2:00 last night so that I could wake up like real people do. Right. So remember this. That was my goal. I didn't want to wake up at midday. I woke up at 1:00 in the afternoon. Can you believe that? 1:00 in the afternoon. Yes, it's your home, Nana. Of course. Absolutely. The same as my home is my home, but it wouldn't be my children's home if they were up and gone. Right, you went to bed at 3:30 and woke up at 11:30. Yes, that's been my life recently. Wow, those little ones could eat you out of house and home. What did they most enjoy, Nana? So, Ty, did you actually go to sleep for New Year, or did you watch it? You know, did you watch, you know, the New Year being brought in? I actually didn't even watch it happening around the world this year. Normally, I have the television on and I watch it go all around the world, but I didn't this year. Yes, it is for you. Absolutely, yeah. So you had baked lasagna for lunch with chicken wings and Chinese food for dinner. Wow, that sounds like a big meal, big day. Yeah, Jody went to bed at 4, woke up at 10, and then napped on and off all day. Good. You're allowed. I was beating up on myself about not waking up until after, I think it was 1:06 that I woke up. And then I remembered, it's a holiday. They ate it all, Nana. That is amazing. And you made gingerbread houses. Oh, that's awesome. So did they take them home with them? That is always such fun. I can't wait to go and visit Benji and Judy again because I got a gingerbread house down there that's got my name on it. By the way, they didn't do it with gingerbread. They did it with, what did they do it with? I'm thinking it was more like Wasser crackers, but it wasn't. Graham crackers. Yeah, maybe. You got called into work and you said yes to it. Okay. All right. I'm always going to keep reminding you that you must have said yes. All right, Beth. You know that's what I'm going to keep doing for you. Well, this whole thing, Nana, that was really, really interesting. This whole thing about don't lick your fingers. Boy, I didn't realize how much I lick my fingers when I'm when I'm baking and stuff. And I'm going, there's anything that tastes good. All right. So in terms of that, did anybody go out? Or did anybody have people come over, maybe, other than the children? Yeah, Tyler was saying he missed it. Yeah, I did too. I was watching something else and it looked at the time and it was already past midnight. What woke me up was fireworks going off. I nearly had a conniption then, and I now, oh yeah, it's New Year. All right, so Marie went to a friend's house and had a glass of wine. Good for you. There's nothing wrong with a glass of wine, I believe. So that is awesome. I'm pleased to hear that. And drank water for the rest of the night. Good for you. You learned how to close the store by yourself tonight. That's good, Beth. Unfortunately, though, that means that you'll be called in to do it more often, once you know how. So, any more updates? Yes, they woke you up as well then. I didn't tell you what I got, because we actually did Christmas yesterday. Yvonne, bless her heart, gave me the one thing that I've really needed and never had. She gave me a massaging hot pad for my back. Oh, how good is that? Not only is it a heating pad, but it actually massages your back as well. And I want to tell you something that has been already has been a godsend to me. Or, it's just like, how did I live without this thing? So now every time I go and, sit on my bed to go and do some work, I just turn it on and I've got this massage and this heat working on my back. Oh, it's wonderful. It got really cold. It was below zero. So going outside wasn't sounding too good. Well, I want to tell you something. I think when you live in Montana, you have to learn to go outside when it's below zero. Otherwise, you'd spend 6 months of the year inside and go stir crazy. Actually, how long do your snow times last, Ty? I want to tell you something, Marie. You have no idea how good it feels. And not only how good it feels, but I don't think I'm making it up, but it really has loosened up my back. All right, so Linda's saying she went to a Thai restaurant in the late afternoon. Yeah, you wanted to be back in the house before the drinkers got busy. Yeah, driving, right? Oh, I want to tell you something, Jody. It was a wonderful gift for me. And the funniest thing was, Wade downstairs. Wade gave me such useful presents. He gave me things like a baby fret saw so I can cut framing. He gave me gloves that I can paint in. And then he gave me neon gloves, bright neon gloves that I can wear when I'm walking in the dark at night. So thoughtful. He gave me paintbrushes and foam brushes. But the funniest thing was, there was this one present and he wrapped it all up with beautiful tissue paper and everything, and then wrapped painter's tape around it and stuck a bow on it. And I want to tell you, I've got it on video. It will end up on a vlog sometime, but it was the funniest thing. And he gave me black licorice, so he's absolutely awesome. Anyway, but the funny thing is, I gave Yvonne a set of plates about 18 years ago. And, have any of you done that, where they've been through the dishwasher so much that the pattern has worn off them? And so what I did is I gave them both presents, but then I had also hidden away a big box. And the big box was a new set of china for them. And not a big set, and not a highly expensive set either, but just a new set. That's what I thought. Yeah, Tyler, that's why I asked the question. Tyler's answering that question about how long do they have snow for. And he said, isn't that the truth? It really depends. We've had years where it snows all the way to May and June. Yeah, I was saying to somebody once that something about April, and I said, and we must be, out of the woods by now. And I said, no, I've known it to snow in April. And they're going, no, not here in British Columbia. I said, I've known it to snow in April in places a lot warmer than British Columbia. So to me, mind you, I must say, Tyler, that for most of us in the real world, that doesn't include Montana, in the other side of the world, we actually believe that, once it gets to May 15, that's it. We can consider this officially summer's on the way. But in your case, spring is on the way, I hear. It's snowed on the mountains in August last year. Okay, you're going to have hopefully lots of water then. Yeah, I must admit that I saw some slushy stuff come down, but that's all. Oh, you think your brother might have had snow in Mission? Wow. Yeah, if you're living up on the mountain there, I would think, Nana, like Port Coquitlam up above there, that probably has had some as well. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty high up there. All right, so any other news from anybody? Lauren is, and we've actually got Lauren studying again the meal prep, because we know that Lauren must be eating a very balanced and healthy diet. And therefore, we're getting her to take notes on what a meal looks like to her. And did you hear what happened to me with that big storm that we had, Nana? It was scary what happened to me. Yeah, I've got my trailer, and at the front of the trailer, like most trailers, it's got a flap that comes down above the front window. And, you can put it up during the day, but it comes down. It actually pulled the fiberglass out of the front of my trailer. And I don't know where it is. I went around the block looking for it, but I just hope it didn't hurt somebody. It literally sucked it out of the trailer frame. It's been in there for 20 years. All right, so, all right, now, wait a minute, Beth. I would be reporting it. Beth is saying she has a question. Her daughter said her rent went up by $100 a month. She never got notified. They can't do, and doesn't she have to sign a new lease? I want to tell you something that I believe, and you'd have to check with your local rent authority. And there is a government agency, and I know that Jody had a rent question for me privately some time ago, and she found it, so she can tell you what it's called in the States. You need to phone them or have Victoria phone them. As far as I know, in Canada, they have to give you at least 2 months warning, and they can't put it up more than 3 to 5%. I think it's 3. So unless she's paying an awful lot of money to start with, I would say this is not legal. And it's not about signing a new lease. They can do it. Every landlord has the right to put up the rent by an amount of 3 to, I don't know what it is in the States, somewhere between 3 and 5%. But they must give you a couple of months warning, if I remember correctly. And it can't just suddenly be a high. I'm pretty sure she's not paying $1,000 a month. Is she paying $1,000? Doesn't matter how long she's lived there. They could put it up by. Okay, so let's think about this. 10% would be 75. So they could put it up by $40 a month, roughly, not 100. Doesn't matter how long she's lived there. As I said, every landlord has the right. If she's on a lease, I would definitely check that out with a lawyer or somebody who knows one, maybe a law student or something that can look it up for you. But I'm pretty sure, you can do it online, Beth. You can find out what the Rent Act is. I think it's called the Rent Act. Because I've done it for other people. All right, so you know where to go now. By the way, if the landlord says either you pay this or you get thrown out, I would be delighted to take that to the press. You know, that's what slum landlords do. And I don't tolerate that. And quite honestly, I would pay the money. Thank you. Yes, but that's in Canada, Nana. And Beth lives in the States. That's why I'm just saying, I know that Jody was looking up some of these things for me in the States, and it's called something different, slightly different in the States. And that's why, you know, we have to be careful because it's not the same. Well, then I would wait to see it in writing. If she hasn't seen it, if she hasn't got it in writing, she doesn't have to worry about it. You know, I mean, they just took it out without warning. Okay, I'd be taking that to a lawyer. I'm not joking. I would take that straight to a lawyer. Thank you, Jody. I had a feeling you knew the answer to this, right? Month to month, if it's month to month, it can be raised, but notice of at least 30 days should be given. Okay, and that's what I'm saying. But I don't think they can up it by $100. They can only up it by about 3 to 5%. Why are you paying your daughter's rent online for her? Have you not taught her how to do that for herself? Anyway, that's I will never understand you, Beth. You've got an adult daughter and you pay. Okay, but that's your choice. And she doesn't have a cell phone. All right. So I don't mean to judge what you do, Beth. I'm sorry. I'll take a step back on that one. This is your business, not mine. So anyway, everybody, here's the thing. Let's get on to some quotes and let's see how we do with these. If you've never been with DearMamaSal before, what we're going to do is read out some quotes, and then whatever triggers for anybody is what we discuss. So we know that we can talk about it today, we could talk about it next week and get different responses. And Jody, if you would, it's the timestamp on this would be 33.5 minutes. And here we go. St. Jerome said, begin now to be what you will be hereafter. Begin now what you will be hereafter. In other words, whatever it is, you know, some of you have heard me say that whatever it is you want people to write about you, do it now, right? Live that life now so that isn't a maybe. They will automatically write it about you. And some of you know that I have a personal epitaph that I wrote, probably 30 years ago, which says, here lies Sal, who cared enough to share, shared enough to make a meaningful difference, and by so doing, became a gentle giant inside. Do you understand? The thing is to understand what you want people to say about you and live that life now. Very important when you're starting to get into a new year. I had a situation come up this week, just so that you know, where there was somebody in a group that I'm part of that was being really arrogant about their knowledge. Hi there, Sakura. He was being really arrogant about his knowledge, and not very helpful. And so I, I decided that I was going to do something in a different way to show people there was an easier way of doing it. And I did that. And then I realized afterwards, I have a choice here. I can choose to make this man my enemy or my friend. And what I did was I said, I'd like to refer you to so-and-so's video because he's done a couple of really big videos on this thing. But if after you've seen that and you still don't get it, feel free to get back to me and then I'll give you my version, which I did. And by the way, I created a little mini video for this person and put it up for her. Well, you can't believe how many people have got back to me and said, where's the second one? This is awesome. Where's the second one? And I'm going, I created another monster. As Jody so rightly said, yet another hobby that's going to take my time. Happy New Year to you too, Sakura. And we hope you and your family have a wonderful New Year. All right. So now then, here's a great quote. By the way, did that bring up anything for anybody about, if you want to be a better person this year, let's start doing it every day. Ask yourself every day, was I a better person today? All right. Or let's say if, in my case, do I want to, lose a whole stack of weight? Well, I have to do the things that create that. Yes. Happy birthday to Dora as well, I believe. Yes. Sorry, Kerry. I did mean to mention that. So happy birthday to Dora as well. So live the life you want to live. If you've got it on your goal idea or list that, you want to read some. And let me ask you something. Did you read anything today? Even if it was one paragraph, did you read something? So I've started sort of taking, for example, just so that on my list for this week, by the way, I just fill in the whole page with stuff I want to do. Read one chapter of Emotional Intelligence, read one chapter of my John McCain book, and read one chapter of the Bob Woodward book. All right? I'm not saying finish the books. I'm just saying sit down, slow down, and read a chapter. Will I accomplish that this week? And if I do, then I will be able to say I definitely wanted to learn more this week in terms of those issues. So, makes sense. So here's the next quote, and it came from Einstein. And Albert Einstein said, we have to do the best we're capable of. This is our sacred human responsibility. We have to do the best we're capable of. It is our sacred human responsibility. Now, Beth takes that to an extreme. She does the best she's capable of, and about 3 other people as well. But the best you're capable of does not mean that you do 3 people's work. It means within a one person's life, do the best that you are capable of. And don't drive yourself into an early grave, or, in my case, I drove myself so hard, I literally ran out of, adrenaline. So, I wouldn't recommend that. It's something that I want to tell you, the day that I woke up without adrenaline was the day I thought I was dying. Because you don't realize how much you value the adrenaline you have until you don't have any. And so I wouldn't want that on anybody. Literally, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I love this. This was from Martin Luther. He said, you have as much laughter as you have faith. How many of you know that if there's one thing you want more of in 2019, it's you want to laugh a lot more? It's good for you to laugh, right? Even if it's at me. It is good to laugh. By the way, one way to really improve the amount of laughter that you have is to to actually laugh at yourself a lot more. You know, it's like an oops. Yeah. What did I do? Oh, I laughed at, how many of you know about St. Anthony? He's the patron saint of lost things. I've been trying to find, what have I been trying to find? I was trying to find a multi-plug-in adapter that goes into a socket, you know, like it's got 6 of them on, one of those extender plates. And I could see it. I knew that somewhere it was in a milk jug that I'd cut off, because they make great things for capturing things. I knew it was inside with other plugs like that in a milk jug holder somewhere in my house. And I thought, you know, I have no idea where that is, but I'll leave it to St. Anthony. He'll help me. And then I decided, you know, if I do nothing else, I want to take one thing out of my bedroom and put it in the right place, because, you know, my bedroom becomes the catch-all for everything. And I picked up what is a air pump for pumping up my big, chair. Some of you know I've got a chair that, one of those rubber chairs that you sit on. And it was in my bedroom for some reason, the pump. So I took it into the back room, which is where it needed to be. And I put it in a drawer that I thought made sense in the back room. And as I opened the drawer and I'm putting the pump into the drawer, I realize I'm looking inside that container that had that plug in it. And I went, oh, that's good, St. Anthony. And I laughed. So I'd like to suggest, find more reasons to laugh. Yeah, please find more reasons to laugh. You know, and I burst out laughing. Oh, that's a good one, St. Anthony. You did a good job. I appreciate that. And how many of you believe on this one? A goal should scare you a little, but excite you a lot. A goal should scare you a little, but excite you a lot. If you don't have excitement in a goal, how many of you know that walking all the way to Calgary made exercise more exciting for me? No? Do any of you want to see how far I've got? I'm really quite proud of myself. And what I'm going to be doing is I'll do a weekly update. Yes, wait until you move and you knew exactly where they were in the old house, but no idea where they are here. Do you know how I move, Nana? I don't know if this makes any sense to you, but when I get down to the final things, I will pack a box, and the box says top right-hand drawer. And or the top right-hand drawer and the one below it will be all in one box. Or kitchen, right-hand cupboard. I will pack everything in there in one box, even if I waste space. Why? Because when I want it, I just look for where it was in the old house until I put it away in the new one. But I understand what you're saying. A good point. Hang on a second. I just wanted to get this. I don't know if I've got it on here. So yeah, I want to tell you though, it is a very good thing to understand. I know I've got it on. Don't worry about it. I will show you on once a week. I will update you. By the way, Jodie's doing really well. You don't have to empty the dresses. No, I just said that way just because it's the way it came out. But I actually do. If I think things are going to get opened and people could take things out of them, I do pack them. So that's just a personal preference. You don't have to, but I do. Okay, so here we go. Here's the next one. This came from Robert Downey Jr. and it's got an explicit in it. So you understand if I do that thing, it means there was a swear word in there. what Robert Downey Jr. said, listen, smile, and agree, and whatever you do, do it the way you were going to do it anyway. Which I think is typically him. Or how about Goethe said, magic is believing in yourself. If you can do that, you can make anything happen. How many of you, if you believe in yourself, if you believe you are capable, you'll be amazed what you can do. And the question is, why did I start to cry at that? It's interesting. Maybe because I've always believed in being able to do things that people thought I couldn't. But at least I'll give it a go, right? Okay, so Beth looked it up. If your month to month, the landlord could conceivably increase your rent at the end of any month, Kentucky has no cap on the amount a landlord can increase your rent by. Really? Wow. Remind me not to live in Kentucky. I can't believe that's possible. And no warning required. So maybe she should consider writing a contract, for a year or something. Get a lease. 30 days notice. That's what I thought. And if she didn't get 30 days notice, she should not have to pay that this month. Yeah, I think shame on Kentucky as well. I'd be talking to my representative on that one. Yeah, I can't believe, I just don't believe that to be true. But, I know you know how to search things out, so I'm going to leave it at that. I would definitely, if they took it out with, can they prove that she got the notification? Because that should have been in my view anyway, a registered letter, so that they can prove that she got it. Yeah, it is possible that she got it and didn't check her mail. So that would be on her then. How many of you agree with this quote? The world is full of magic things, patiently waiting for our senses to grow sharper. How many of you realize that there have been all sorts of wonderful things out there for us, but we just weren't ready for them yet? Have you ever thought about that? And it's really funny, where I for at least a year, I've been seeing this one thing that comes up every now and then, that writing on a whiteboard thing. And I've been going, oh, I really want to do that. And funny enough, somebody asked me, why don't you, paint your life? And I'm saying, yeah, but it's difficult to do. And the reason it's difficult to do is you have to buy a program to do it. Well, I want to tell you, I'm so glad I bought the program. It's just like, it's such fun. Of course, all I need is this next hobby, right? Now, do you know who quoted this and who said this? It is not in the stars to hold our destiny, but in ourselves. In other words, we create our own destiny. It is not in the stars to hold our destiny, but in ourselves. Any idea who said that? William Shakespeare. Now then, take a deep breath on this one, because this one's going to challenge a couple of you, and feel free to give me some feedback if it does. If you are not willing to risk the unusual, you will have to settle for the ordinary. If you're not willing to risk the unusual, you will have to settle for the ordinary. Can you imagine if I'd never bothered to do the learning curve, to learn how to do YouTube? Right? You know, I had to take that risk of the unusual to me in order to be here today. I had to take the risk of learning a new program and maybe not getting it. Hi, Pat, Happy New Year to you. All right, I had to take that risk as well to learn a new program, to be able to play with it. And like all I needed was something else to concentrate on. Now, John C. Maxwell is a very favorite author of mine. He's written some really interesting books. And he said, learn to say no to the good so you can say yes to the best. Wow. How many of you go, there's a concept, learn to say no to the good so that you can say yes to the best. All right, I'm just going to stop for a second, and my mind wandered because I read something that Beth had just written, and I'd like to repeat it because it's such a kind thing. If I never listened to Sal on the broadcast, I would be gravely ill. I hope you would have found somebody else that would have helped you, Beth. And, you know, I thank you for the compliment, and we all do, because you understand, Dear Mama Sal is not just about me, it's about all of us together. All right, so here's Nana's comment. I thought Rick was nuts when he wanted to buy a PC, because he would need to know for work, and Mark and I would need it because he needed to know it for work, and Mark and I would need it too. Yeah, absolutely. Thought it was there. Like who? I remember. I do any. Some of you are old enough. I remember when, I think it was Bill Gates that said, there will come a time when there will be a computer in every home. We're all going, you know, in those days, the computers took up a city block, and we're going, yeah, right. And then what I laugh at is because I think when somebody says to me about, you know, when those scammers phone me up and say, we want to talk to you about your Microsoft computer, and I'm going, which one? They don't like that question, by the way. That's why I always ask them, which one? Because I realize that, you know, we don't have just one computer in the house anymore. All right, we've got a computer, we've got a laptop, we've got here. Wow. And Beth's saying here, I thank you all for my life and showing me that I'm a part of this world. I just had to see it in my head and just jump in and just do it. Yeah, you know, Beth, you're not alone in that, right? I think a lot of us, you know, reach that point where, I don't know about you, Beth, but I was running so damn hard. And I didn't dare jump off the treadmill, because I was quite certain that if I jumped off the treadmill, I would die. I didn't keep going at that speed, that, you know, I would die. That was, I think, my sense. And the same way, as I don't know if any of you relate to this, I also thought, I cannot afford to tell anybody just how angry I am, because I might hurt somebody if I do. I don't know if any of you have ever felt like that. It's like, I was so scared to show what I was really feeling, because I thought I might, you know, do somebody a mischief if I did. And yet the funny thing is, once I gave myself permission to feel, my life totally changed, because I didn't build all that up anymore. Yeah, Jody, I totally agree with you. Jody's saying, Beth, we have all benefited from you being here. Thank you. Beth, we wouldn't know how to pre-prep, we wouldn't understand so much of the food stuff that you're so good at. You know, that you've given, I want to tell you, I think you've given the viewers here as much as you've ever received. And that's just part of it. You know, it's been a two-way trade. Yes, I'm a great believer. You know, I got a thank you note this last 24 hours from one of the viewers privately, and thanking me for what I did in his life. And what I said to the viewer was, please understand, and I think some of you know me well enough for this, I have always said I don't go looking for viewers. I really truly believe that when people need what we have to give, they will find us. And some will stay for a long time, and some will stay for a short time, and that's great. And some will come back when they need us again. And, you know, to me, that is the greatest gift, and I'm so happy that, you know, that we can do that for people. I really am. I'm genuinely happy that we can do that for people. So thank you, Beth. But don't you dare think, honey, that it's a one-way trade, because it isn't. You have done great work to help others, and you know, you will continue to do that, I'm sure. And by the way, if none of you have seen it, when Beth plays games, she doesn't just play games. She's got like mission control. How many computer screens have you got? 3 of them set up, one to the right, one to the center, you know, one to the left. And now I did that the opposite way around. That was quite clever because my right is over here. I'm quite proud of myself for that. But, you know, absolutely amazing to see her set up and going, boy, that's a serious gamer. You know, that's not a play gamer. That's a serious gamer. Sylvia Plath said that I have a choice of being constantly active and happy, or introspectively passive and sad. Or I can go mad, ricocheting between the two. Yeah, I really do believe that. Beth is saying, thanks, Jody. We all are meant for each other. There's a reason why we are all here. I totally believe that. And I want to tell you something. What keeps me coming back time and time again to do more and more broadcasts is because I always learn so much. I mean, I'd love to tell you that, you know, that I know it all, but boy, I learn from all of you in different ways. And I think we all, you know, pass on different parts of ourselves. Look how many times we've gone, gosh, thank you, Nana, for that update. Or, so many people chip in and give us a little piece of the puzzle that maybe we didn't have before. So a very important part of it. When you have confidence, you can have a lot of fun. And when you have fun, you can do amazing things. And the person who said that was Joe Namath, the football player. How many of you are going to have more fun this year? Going to give yourself permission to have more fun? I hope so. I really hope so. And so, right, and how do you like this for a quote? If you want something you've never had, you will have to do something you have never done. I wonder how many of you, as you're watching this or listening to this, realize that we get into our ruts so quickly. That's why on one of my goals, as you know, every year, all right, one of my main goals is education. What am I going to do to educate myself more this year? And this year, I took on 3 different computer programs. You know, I took on Doodly, which is the sketchy one, FreeMind, which is the mind mapping, and my virtual mission, which is the one I'm walking. You know, that's it. Boom. That was my Christmas present to myself. Because what do I know? The more I use my mind, the longer it's going to serve me. And when I am here at my age, you know, that's a really important thing. All right, Tyler's saying, I need to. I'm not getting any younger, right? And Linda's saying, I'm in for giving myself permission to have fun. Yeah, I'd plan it. Don't talk about it. Any idiot can talk about it. Plan it and do it. Wow, Beth's saying, I thought you were nuts the first time I ghosted. I ghosted for a long while before I could join in. I had to learn that I was so far gone at that point that I was drawn. Yeah. And, I know at least one viewer told me, Beth, that she watched in tears for 3 months before she ever said anything. She apparently watched crying her heart out for 3 months. And for those of you who remember, it was Angela. And, I always was so taken by that. You didn't know there were caring people in the world? Wow. Yeah, well, actually, there are. Thank you, Jody. And you're not alone anymore. No, you're not alone. You're not the. I don't know about the rest of you, but I really thought I was the only one that had this all. That was living such a difficult life. And I realize now I was making it difficult for myself, but that's the learning. But I really promised myself, Beth, way back, that if I ever got out of the hole I was in, I was going to teach everybody I knew how I did it. Right, that was my commitment to, when you sort of go, okay, help me out of here. And if you help me out of here, I promise I will spend my time helping others claw their way out as well. And, I think it's really important. I really do think it's important. And there is nothing more noble in being superior to your fellow man. True nobility is being superior to your former self. There is nothing noble in being superior to your fellow man. True nobility is being superior to your former self. How many of you want to be a better person than you were last year? How many of you have that as a goal? I want to be a better person this year than I was last year in every facet of my life. Beth is saying, I can now teach others in my life. And I thought I would never be able to say that. Well, yeah, you're a natural born teacher because, Beth, you teach by example, right? It's when you hear me talking to you while you're teaching them that you know you're in big trouble. And Beth, if you find the words, well, you know what Sal says. I tell a story about that. There was one guy that came to a full day seminar I was running in downtown Vancouver one time. And he told me the only reason he was there was he was fed up with hearing the words, well, you know what Sal would say to that, from his staff. And so he came to find out what Sal would say to that. And the funniest thing was he actually said to me at the very beginning, look, I've just come in here. I'm not going to be staying long. There's a reason why I've come. And you probably want to know what it was. Well, quite honestly, I didn't really care. But I just sort of said, and what is that reason? And he said, well, I'm fed up with hearing my staff say these words. And I said, oh, that's cute. So he said, but I won't be staying long. And I said, no, that's fine. No problem. After the first break, guess who's still sitting in his chair? After lunch, who's still sitting in his chair? And who came up to me at the end of the day and went, that has to be the most interesting day I have spent in a long time. Thank you so much. And then, he had the great grace to phone me up. About 4 days later, he phoned me up and he said, hey, Sal, you're going to love this one. And I said, what's that? And he said, my wife said something to me. And I said, well, you know what Sal would say to that. And he said, I'm a convert, apparently. I thought it was so cute. Right. And Beth's saying, my husband always says, what do you think Sal would say to that? Yeah, you see, this is the whole thing. But you see, I am not really anything more than the conduit, if you like, right? These are the things I'm talking about. You've all heard before. Lionel won't even say the words, I'll try anymore. He knows it's either do it or don't. Well, tell him Happy Christmas. I'm glad he got it. And you don't realize how many times you say, I'll try. And you do mean, when people say to me, okay, I'll try, I go, okay, that means you're not going to do it. What? No, I told you I'd try. I said, yeah, but I'll try means that you've put in the mental, the psychology that you're not going to do it. So I should be prepared for you not to do it. Now, if you told me I'll do it, that sounds a whole lot better to me. And it's amazing. How about your labor is your contribution to the miracle? Beth, the reason you have changed so much is because of what you put into it. It's not about me or Jody or Nana or whatever. You see, we just flapped our lips and typed a bit here and there. You see, it's what you put into it that changed. Your willingness to changed you. Your willingness to see another side of the coin changed you. It's not just that we are so clever. And I love this quote. Listen very carefully to this one. From a very wise man, in my view. We did not come to fear the future. We came here to shape it. We did not come to fear the future. We came here to shape it. And that was Barack Obama. And I totally agree with him. It is our job, each of us, in our own way, to shape our future and everybody else's. And so as you look at 2019, keep asking yourself, what am I going to do? I have people write to me and say about December, for example, I really think you should do this, 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 this. And I said, if you believe that needs to be done, what are you doing about it? Why are you waiting for December to do something about it? Why don't you do something about it? And, to me, it's like when we talk about things, it's easy. Doing it, that's a whole different story. How many of you know how many people are out there who are, always going on about, YouTubers and how much money they make and what nasty people they are or whatever. And I keep looking, when anybody talks to me about it, I say to them, have you tried it? Well, no. Well, until you've tried it, please don't judge it. Because you have no idea how hard it is to be a YouTuber. You have no idea how much time of your life it takes. So I recommend you try it. Because, what do I know inside myself? If you try it, you're going to shut up in a hurry. So here's another great quote. Learn to sell. Learn to build. And if you can do both, you will be unstoppable. Now, how about this for a quote? You'll probably be quite surprised who said it. There is no great genius without a mixture of madness. How many of you can see that some of the greatest geniuses had to have a little bit of madness in them? I always said of Robin Williams, the reason that he is so incredibly funny in what he does is he's prepared to take it outside the norm, right? He always pushed the envelope. He did things that weren't crass or nasty, but he just took it a step farther all the time. And he didn't just say good morning Vietnam, which he could have done. All right. It was the way in which he said it that became legendary. He always gave 150% to any character he ever played. When he did, Mrs. Doubtfire, you can imagine being on the crew there must have been so difficult because he was so funny and yet so passionate about the part. And so you look at it, you look at Steve Jobs, if you read about his life, he was a genius, no doubt about it, but there also was some strange stuff about him, right? Or, anybody who has that level of genius is not quite wired the same way. Yes, and I totally agree with you, rest in peace. And, one of the things I've always said, Tyler, is there's a reason why so many comics commit suicide, right? It's amazing to me how many comics end up voluntarily or involuntary committing suicide. And I say involuntarily because, you can die of an overdose and that's an involuntary suicide. Or, some of them may be intentional, but, I'd like to think that most of them are involuntary. But the fact that you're doing drugs, all right, is a suicide. You remember, Beth, when I first started talking to you, one of the things I said to you was, anybody who eats as little as you do is committing suicide. Is there a reason why you're doing that? Now, it was a pretty big 2x4 that day, but, that's how I felt about it, which is if you know that you're running yourself ragged or you're not eating enough, and there are 1,000 and other things that come up for different people when they come in, I just ask that question. Is there a reason why you're trying to kill yourself, but do it? How many of you have heard about, death by cop? How many people just don't feel that they can cope anymore, so they go out and do something that make the cops come to them, and then they do something else to make sure the cops shoot them? It's like scary a world that we live in. It takes a different mindset to do comedy. It can be a lonely profession. Let me tell you how well I know that, Tyler. I want you to imagine for a second, because it's happened to me so many times, to be standing. There's a very well-known theater in Regina called, I think it's in Regina, the Theater of the Stars, I think it's called. Anyway, it's huge. And I spoke there for a day. And the auditorium was absolutely full. There wasn't a seat available. I was in the green room, Theater of the Stars, maybe it's called, I don't know. Anyway, it was in the green room, and the Beatles' signature was there, and everybody that was anybody had played this theater. And here I was, and I didn't just go on for one gig for 2 hours. I had it for a day, and I was sold out. And the most amazing thing was, hi, Nyasha, happy birthday, honey. And the most amazing thing was that I stood there with a standing ovation from that many people in that size auditorium. And an hour later, Tyler, imagine this, I was sitting on my own in a hotel room. You go from this high down to this low. And, all the time leading up to the big high, everybody thought you were really important and looked after you. The moment you've done your gig, nobody cares about you anymore. And I want to tell you, one of the most difficult jobs in the world, whether you know it or not, is to be a performer of any sort. And the fact that I understood that really well is the reason I got out of the business. Because after 20 years of doing that roller coaster, I said, this is going to end up killing me. I don't think I want to go through these, incredible highs and then the drop afterwards. It's, it was sad, but, I had somebody job shadow me once, Nana. You've probably heard me talk about that. And they wanted to be a professional speaker. And I said, I will teach you everything I know, but do me a favor, literally live with me and job shadow with me for 48 hours before. When I say live with me, in other words, get up when I get up and meet me where I need to be and so forth. Do that for 48 hours before you make that decision. After 48 hours of living my life, she said to me, I don't want to be a professional speaker anymore. And I said, why not? And she said, I had no idea the hours it takes, the stress it takes, the travel it takes, the mindset it takes, The difference between being a normal human being and being a performer, getting the adrenaline up, getting ready to perform, right? Very, very difficult to do. So I chose to step away from that. Beth, it's the same thing as I chose not to live that incredible life in business anymore as well. I didn't want to be the business leader anymore. I didn't want that stress. I didn't want to hear the words, well, it's just the cost of doing business, as I watch people decimate other human beings, in terms of the way they treated them. I didn't want to hear those words anymore. It's just the cost of doing business. It's okay. It's just the cost of doing business. And I turn around and go, no, it's evil. It's really not good. And if running a business means that you got to treat people like this, then I really don't want to be in this business anymore. And I walk out of it. No, but you are our top producer, and yeah, but I don't need this. Yeah, I don't want to do this to people. I don't want to encourage my staff to lie. I don't want to do that. I don't care what nice words you put around it, but basically you're telling me, tell my staff to lie. I'm not going to do that. I won't be part of it anymore. I choose to get off that treadmill. And how about I would rather be a superb meteor, every atom of me in magnificent glow, than a sleepy and permanent planet. Well, I don't know, Nyasha, I thank you for that. That you think it's great of me. I don't think it was. I think it's called survival for me. And Beth will understand what I'm talking about. I just realized I couldn't keep doing it. It was upsetting my psyche too much. And I was very good, don't get me wrong. I was pretty much the top performer in almost anything I tried. And Beth knows all about that. And, it was just like, then one day I said, no, and I realized what I was doing to myself. And I said, I'm not going to do this anymore. Yeah, Tyler's saying it's like sports athletes as well. Some careers don't last very long. And once it's all over, they don't know what to do next. Yeah, I want to tell you, I constantly ask myself, Tyler, even with DearMamaSal, what if I couldn't see anymore? How would I continue it? Would I continue it? And how would I manage that? It's part of when I do my mind maps, how would I do that? I plan for that, not because I'm negative, because I want to make sure that I can continue. Or, what if I couldn't speak anymore? How would I continue DearMamaSal? How many of you know I would continue DearMamaSal without being able to speak? There are enough programs today that I could create work that would help, I believe, would help people without actually being the voiceover for it. And so to me, it's always a great challenge in my life, which is, what do I want to learn today? And what do I want to give today, right? What do you want to give the world today? How many of you have got that on your goal list? Not what you can take from the world, but, as JFK said, think, not what the American can give to you, think about what you can give to America. So, I look at it and I say, how many of you on your goal list have your contribution as one of your, and Jody, your contribution to DearMamaSal is priceless in my view, as one of many ways in which you contribute. Some of you contribute to your church, some of you, your time, some of you may contribute your money, and some people say to me, oh, well, giving your time isn't the same. I believe you me, as some people give a great deal more by giving their time than they do of giving their money. That is something that I really came to appreciate in my life. Never let the odds keep you from doing what you know in your heart you were meant to do. Never let the odds keep you from doing what you know in your heart you are meant to do. I want to tell the story again about Jody, and the fact that, I'm doing the walking to Calgary as my virtual mission to make sure that I encourage myself to walk more. And then Lauren kindly chipped in and said she'd wheel her way down Tasmania. And then Jody, who cannot walk and cannot wheel, said, is there a way I can do this so I can support you? And I said, well, what about if you do the hand rolls? And we worked it out. I actually did 100 of these and worked out how many steps it put on my watch, because it does. And then we did the math and we worked it out. And Jody is busy arm rolling her life away now. Wow. Okay. And Nyasha, I thank you for that. Nyasha's saying you're great because you're not just to work for the working aspect of things, but you are caring individual as well. If it berates another person, you won't participate in it. I want to tell you, I left more jobs than you can believe, Nyasha, because of their treatment of human beings. I just couldn't do it. But that doesn't make me a good business person. I was very successful, don't get me wrong. Very successful, but I will not do that. And Linda's saying, Sal, you're a remarkable woman. My thanks to you all. I must sign off. Happy New Year. And actually, she says, happy precious New Year. And so true is that. We look forward to all of us being able to say that again next year, by the way. You don't need a Fitbit to do it necessarily, I guess. Any pedometer would do it for you. No, definitely not a Fitbit. Any sort of pedometer. Do you have any means of checking how many steps you do? Now, it's easier for a man, funny enough, Nana, because men wear their smartphones all the time, right? Women don't. Women don't have pockets the way that men do. And so we're inclined to put our phones down for a lot of the day. But if you picked up your phone, your phone will track how many steps you do. You've got the same phone as mine, I think, or one version down or something like that, right? Which model have you got, Nana? And you can get so many programs online. But the thing is this, if you don't hold it, or if you're not wearing it, it won't be able to track your steps. So what I'm saying is, in my virtual mission, you can manually put in how many steps you've done or how many miles you've walked or whatever. You don't know which phone you've got. Really? I think I got either an S6 or an S8. I can't remember which of the two, but either of them you can get. Jody manually puts hers in because she can't move, so she just does the arm rolls. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is a 6. A great phone, by the way. And the 8 wasn't really that much different. So, yeah, so it depends how you want to do it, Nana. Literally, that's what Jody is doing. She's literally arm rolling her way through to the coast, from New Hampshire to the coast. I think it's amazing. And I just watch, I can watch how she's doing. So I can tell her, she's about to go very close to the KFC. And I wanted to say, if you happen to just do a side trip down that road that you're coming up to, Jody, and pick us up some KFC, that would be awesome. I know I'm not meant to eat it, but it is, it's virtual. All right, so. Yeah. So anyway, anybody who wants to do that, so I'm actually quite amazed how far I've come on my journey. I'm Nana, you know where I live, pretty much. And I just want to tell you, I've already walked into, I think I'm starting into Aldergrove at the moment. That's how far I've come already. And it's surprising how it adds up. How many of you really get this one? This one says the first to apologize is the bravest. The first to forgive is the strongest. And the first to forget is the happiest. There is nothing wrong with KFC once in a while, Nana, you're quite right. Other than sodium, perhaps. I know I was horrified. It's a bit like my poutine. When I actually saw the sodium in poutine, I just freaked and I went, yeah. The first to apologize is the bravest. How about if we lived this alone for a year? Can you imagine the difference in our lives? If we remember that the first to apologize is the bravest, the first to forgive is the strongest, and the first to forget is the happiest. And Pat being Pat, as she always is, and that's what we adore about her. Pat says, I must not be happy. I never forget anything. Did I know that at Christmas you can email on your private account? I don't know what you mean by that. I can email on my private account any day. Oh, so you don't have a KFC in your neck of the woods anymore, Tyler. We still have one. It's not somewhere I want to visit very often, but we do still have one here as well. And I know that Jody does because it's showing up on her walk. She's just got to hang a right at, when she goes a little bit further down over their arm rolls, she's going to, I can't remember the name of the street, but if she goes down there, it's there on the right-hand side, I believe. And that's one of the things we found about this virtual mission is, I'm learning things about Jody's hometown. Yeah, it's on Spruce Street, but the one where you're going to hang a right to go down to the KFC is the one I didn't know. But, it's like I'm learning things about Jody's hometown that I would never have known. I didn't realize there were so many parks in her hometown. It was poor management, right, Tyler? Yeah, that often would close a franchise down. Oh, at Christmas, I sent you an email on my private account. Yeah, you have a problem with that? So I should not have you on my private account? Is that... Nana, anybody who's got my home telephone number and knows where I live deserves to be on my private account, in my view. Just saying, you'll forgive me. And I love this quote. This is from Robert Louis Stevenson. He said, don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant. Right? Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, not what you can take from each day, but by the seeds that you plant. What can you give to life this day? Yeah, I want to tell you something, Nyasha. I will get Jody to just send you the link. And you can literally just do 100 of these and it will move you along. And Jody will tell you, it's okay, Nana. It's, don't overset your goal, right? Because it's a long way. My goal, by the way, my mission to walk to Calgary will take me 3 years. How many of you don't want to set a goal that would take that long? But can you imagine if I actually do it, how proud I'm going to be of myself? I'm actually really proud of myself that I'm well on my way to Abbotsford, which is the first, marker on my list to go all the way through to Calgary. I'm hoping in my lifetime I'll make it right across Canada, to be honest. So yes, absolutely, Nyasha. We will send you the link, and it's fairly easy to sign up. I think, Jody, you'd agree with that. It wasn't very difficult, right? And it was free. Yes, you see, here's a lovely quote from Nana, right? As we go through our life, we can only hope to leave some seeds in our lifetime and that they may grow. Yes, they won't all grow, and we know that as well. You will see, if you can go to the street view, you can see parks and trees. Yeah, you can do the street view. I've done that with Jody's place every now and then. I'll have a look. And by the way, also with Lauren. Lauren's just past the golf course. I wanted to have a bit of a quick look at the golf course while she was going by. You can swim across the ocean to visit you. Yeah, I can. You're right. Yeah, it's very exciting. And, so to me, it's like, yay. And not only that, it's quite funny because I spent the longest time heading towards a well-known store in my part of the world, which is called the Campbell River store. It's a little place where you can fill up with propane, and it's a corner store, but it's a fancy one. It takes up quite a bit of room. It's a very fancy one. And I was walking towards Campbell River store for the longest time. I assure you that anybody mentions to Jody or to Lauren, have you ever heard of Campbell River store? They're going to, oh yeah, I know all about that. And then they heard about it for nearly a week as I was heading towards it. Now, something really funny? Yeah, Jody, I even sent her a picture so she'd know what it looked like when I got there. But the funny thing was that I saw a road near where Lauren was walking called Bridgeport, not Bridgeport, but Bridgeport. Now, it was interesting to me because, we have a Bridgeport in my neck of the woods, but it rang a bell. And, within a few days, I saw somebody else say something about Bridgeport Road. And I'm going, I don't believe it. I know where that is. And it's in Tasmania. So there must be others. So then I had to find out where that person lived. And sure enough, it was in another town. But, it was, it's amazing. Will it help you to get fit? Jody, I want to tell you, it definitely puts up your, do you want to find out, Nyasha? I can show you right now. I can show you right now whether it helps you get fit. But this also will help you scenery. Now, you can walk, right? Yeah. Okay. So listen, Nyasha, let me tell you something, and I'm going to tell you that my watch at the moment is ending in 58 steps. All right. It's got in thousands, but the last two things are 58 steps. All right. Now watch this and do this with me. Just start rolling your arms like this. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 20, 22, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, and now backwards because it uses different muscles. 51, 52, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 60, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 70, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 80, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 90, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 100. Right now, 100. It's now ending on 52. All right, so that is basically a step each time. It's the equivalent of that. That's how much it makes your heart rate increase. And my heart rate was 64 and it's now up to 71. So yes, it's pumping the blood around your system. And you think about it, it's using lots of muscles and things. And by the way, there's nothing to stop you doing this. But if you can walk, even better. I want to tell you, doing this has increased the amount I do. I can feel it now. My goal every day is to do a minimum of 5,000 steps. Yes, I think you'll find it may help your feet as well. You did it, but your arms start hurting. All right, so what you do, if you do this, don't overdo it, all right? If, for example, if you can only do 20, that's great. Keep going, and tomorrow you can probably do 21, and the next day probably 22, all right, as you build up strength. Jody, how are you finding that? Would you say that was true? Are you more able to do this week what you weren't able to do last week? That would be my question. Is it increasing for you? So you see, the thing is this, it doesn't really matter, and we're not in competition with each other. We are in competition with ourselves, all right? I don't consider that I am doing more work than Jody is. Yeah, that's why I wanted to do it. And that's why I wanted to encourage anybody else that wanted to do it with me, that we all do it together, because it's fun to see where everybody, the town, obviously when you plot your mission, don't do it from your house. I did mine from the local pier, which is probably, 5 kilometers away. Don't do it from your house. You don't want to give away private information. Just do it from a landmark somewhere where you live, and then try and reach a landmark somewhere where you'd like to go. I've got to go over the Rockies, Nyasha. Imagine that. Right over the Rockies, right? All right, so Jody breaks hers up into 25 rolls every 30 minutes. And that adds up to your goal in no time. I know, it's amazing, isn't it? I used to do that at work. When I was working all day long, I do that at least every hour. Yeah, I understood it, Joe, because, I understand how you talk. How about this for a great quote? If you know me at all, you know this is true of me. Never confuse a single defeat with a final defeat. How many of you know that is so true? Well, if you've got an elliptical, yeah, you can definitely, because that records how many steps you've done, right? Or how many miles. Does it record how many miles you've done, Nyasha? Oh, that's so good. If you've got an elliptical, that is wonderful. If you've got one of those ones that has a recording device in it, even better. I always joke, Nyasha. I always joke that, I've got a big stepper machine. They always say, do you have an elliptical or elliptical stepper or, just a stepping machine? I go, yeah, it's called a staircase. Yeah. So if ever I want to get a few extra steps in, I just go up and down the stairs. You use it without the recording device. Okay, so then what I would do is you must set it at it must have a setting. To turn it on, it must automatically be at some setting, Nyasha. All right? Give us the information of what that is. Does it say that it's set at, 2 200 steps a minute or whatever. And I'm certain we can do the math and work out roughly what it should be. Yeah, Beth is saying she walks up and down the stairs outside her apartment. Boy, that's a workout. Your legs are like jello after doing that for a while. Yeah, it's amazing. A lot of people pay a lot of money to go to a gym. And I've always said, the gym is right outside your door or in your house if you want it. By the way, for those of you who are looking, Jody was saying that when she gets strong enough, she's going to take some weights and do it with weights. And I'm going, a lot of people don't have weights, but, you've probably got a couple of soup cans that you could use instead. And soup cans, are a weight. You don't have to put in where you live. You can, if you want to walk from some place in the world that you've always wanted to see to another, you can do that. You can enter any location and any destination. So now there are a lot of us that would quite like to see Trinidad. So, so therefore, that wouldn't be a bad idea for some of us. How about walking around Trinidad? Start any, well-known place in Trinidad. And wow, look at that. Beth says she uses ankle weights, 4-pound ankle weights, each ankle when she's at work. You must be so fit, Beth. That's amazing. And how about this? This came from Stephen King. The scariest moment is always just before you start. How many of you have heard me say, I am great getting my exercise if I can just get outside the door? My biggest challenge is getting outside the door. If I can get outside the door, I'm fine. The other day, funny enough, I was going outside and I said to Yvonne, I'm just, I like to let Yvonne know if I'm going out at night, just in case, something happens to me. And I said to her, I'm just going out to the end of the block and back again. And when I got to the end of the block, I was feeling really good. So I sent another text and said, I'm going to complete the whole block. And by the way, my whole block is a pretty big diamond. It's just under, I think it's 0.6 of a mile. And I literally did the whole of that in, I think I did it in 14 minutes one day this week. And I've got to tell you that a year ago, that took me a minimum of 20 to 22 minutes to get around the block. So even though I'm heavier, I am more fit than I was. Isn't that interesting? Hang on a second. Let me just check. I'll let you know. Just hold on 1 second. We'll find out. Because I can check that in a heartbeat. You see, we have that technology today. That's what I love. Let me just get to Google Maps, which I'm going to, and then I'll let you know if they have a street view. I think this is why I love living in this day and age. Okay, Trinidad and Tobago. And here we go. Here's Trinidad and Tobago. Let's zoom in a little bit. And yes, it has a satellite view. So we can definitely see from the satellite view, and I'm now going to have the little man go down and do street view and see what happens. Let me see where shall I go? I'm going to go, how about Pell Misty Park? Let me see if I can get there. Put the little man down there. No, but it does give us satellite view. So you can still see the trees and you can see things like that. And in the map view, for example, I can see all your major eateries are shown there, restaurants and things. So, and where I can see your parks, I can see, I saw the local KFC. Yeah, I saw a KFC on South Trunk Road in Victoria, near Duncan Village. How about that? You see, It is wonderful. I just love it. I know where you are. It took me a while to remember it, but I know where you are. Yeah. You see, I think it'd be wonderful for you to walk around Trinidad and Tobago because, well, let's start with Trinidad because, a lot of people would love to see it and to see the type, the woods and the parks and those sort of things. And you could send us, screenshots of various places that, would help us understand it better. What do you think, Niash? Do you think you could do that? I tell you, your dietitian would be so impressed if you did. Really impressed. All right, so we've got 15 minutes to go. And Carl Jung said, "Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes." Point Fortin. Hang on a second. I'll see what I can find. I just went anywhere. I didn't worry about where. I just went onto the island. Hang on a second. Port. Okay, so what I've got around Port Fortin is Guapo Bay. Would that be right? The Clifton Hill Beach. What else can I see? Ios Bay, Capdeville, Cedrus, Granville Beach. I'm going down this coast now. Cedrus Bay. How am I doing? Erin Bay. I've got, yeah. I'm probably not pronouncing these correctly, but yeah, it's there. When I first went, I just went anywhere. I didn't really care where I was. How am I doing? I'm a lot more knowledgeable than I was yesterday. So if that's roughly where you are, you see, you can start anywhere there. Uh-oh. I accidentally nuked my map, but don't worry. But you can start anywhere there and then, just walk your way around the island. Isn't that fun? And, it's like we've got the technology. We're going to send it. It's actually, we can send it to you. Wait a minute. It's called My Virtual. No, hang on a second. Oops, I could type. My Virtual Mission is what it's called. Oh, still didn't get it right. Got it? Sorry about the caps. It just happened to be locked up at the time. And anybody else who wants to join us now, what I might do is start a separate group of people. I think there's a way of actually getting us all together on one mission. If people want to try that, I'll see how that goes. I've still got to work out how to do that. Let me put that on my list of things to do. But I think, unfortunately, that you can only be working on one mission at a time. And I definitely am on a mission. So, plus you can do it as a fundraiser if you want to. Anyway, the main thing is about 2019. It's going to be as healthy as we make it. It's going to be as much fun as we make it. It's going to be, we're going to learn as much as we choose to. We're going to have as many friends as we care to keep in touch with. We are going to be as loved as we are loving to others. You know what I mean? It's like we get to decide how much fun to have in 2019. And one of the things that I have found really interesting is how many people have said to me, I cannot believe your attitude about being diagnosed with diabetes. And I said, why? And they said, well, because most people, see it as a really negative thing. And I said, yeah, it is. It's definitely a negative thing, but it's up to me how I choose to deal with it. All right? It's up to me how I choose to deal with it. The same thing. Could Jody have said, well, I can't walk anymore and I can't even get in a wheelchair and wheel anymore, so I can't do this? She didn't say that. She wrote to me and said, Sal, can I do this any other way? And I thought about it and I went, yeah, why can't she do arm rolls? She still has not easy movement of her arms, but she does have movement of her arms. So she could, if she wanted to, do arm rolls. And then we did all the math and got it all sorted out. And we don't care if it's not perfect. The point is, can she participate? The answer is absolutely. You see, I'm all about what can I do? Don't tell me what I can't do. I don't want to hear what I can't do. Don't tell me what I can't eat. You see, I think in some sort of strange way, I can eat anything as long as I eat carefully, as long as I keep an eye on the carbs and keep them down. All right? And so to me, this is about, I don't want to hear what I can't do. And when I get to my dietitian, I'm pretty sure that the dietitian is either going to be very pleased with my mentality or not. And I don't really mind. All right? This is like, I don't live a life about what I can't do. I am pretty sure that a lot of people would tell me I can't learn a new computer program, at my age, or I can't, walk to Calgary at my age. But I would like to prove you wrong. I would like to prove that as much as I hate exercise, I can make it to Calgary. Well, Nyasha, I don't know about you, but this is a personal choice, all right? You see, my attitude is this, that I can live a life where I spend my time going, oh, I wish I could do this, but I can't. I've done that. I've been depressed so much of my life, Nyasha, you would not believe it. I spent probably nearly half my life totally depressed, pretending I was fine when I wasn't. But you see, I've learned how not to be depressed anymore. And to me, I just, I don't live that life anymore. It's like, I want to tell you, even my doctor knows me pretty well. He's been dealing with me for 30 years. He said, well, Sal, you got diabetes. And I said, oh, self-inflicted wound. He said, what did you just say? I said, self-inflicted wound. Yeah, what do I need to do now? He just burst out laughing. He said, Sal, you got to be the only person that reacts like that. And I said, yep. Yeah, Beth, that's right. If you're stressed out about your MS, I'd just give up and I'd wait until it got worse, and I'd choose to get out and do as much as I can till I can't anymore. Wow, Beth, absolutely, right? I'm good today and that's all that matters. Absolutely. Jody's the same now, right? I hate exercise, but if you have virtual friends to go along the journey, maybe I can just make, something? Why don't you try it for a week? See how much fun you have. All right? And if you have any, you've got all of us there. It can't be that difficult to sign on. Jody did it. Lauren did it. I did it. So it's not difficult. You just literally press a few buttons and say, I want to start here and I want to finish there. And it does everything else for you. It asks you how long you'd like to take. I didn't say how long I wanted to take. I said I wanted to do no more than half a mile a day, average. All right? And I'm way ahead of where I meant to be at half a mile a day. But I wanted to make it very doable, Nyasha. I didn't want to overcommit to it. Because if I overcommit to it, and it said it's going to take me 3 years to get to Calgary. Well, I don't think it will, actually. If I keep doing the way I'm doing it, it probably won't take me 3 years to get to Calgary at all. Wouldn't that be fun? So, but my first goal is to get to a place called Abbotsford, which Nana knows about, by Valentine's Day. Yes, Jody has the highest hopes of extending this extended family for 2019. I feel we're going to accomplish great things and to meet our personal goals. That's the only goal that's important. You know, I really appreciate it that some of you are supporting me in my goals, but you know, your personal goals are the important ones. And I kept, you know, the other thing is, for example, Lauren is in hospital at the moment. Lauren is in hospital, and I just said to her, I still want you to plug in 2,000 steps a day, even though I know you can't step because, you know, you would have to wheel. But this was not your choice to be in hospital. And I don't think we should punish her. So I just said to her, you know, I'm pretty sure you were doing at least 2,000 steps a day, wheeling, you know, that's what it equated to. So you keep plugging them in. You see, it's virtual. No, what you do, Nyasha, is you put in your total goal. All right. So you might say, I want to walk from Trinidad to New York. Now, the good thing is, this is an incredibly talented program. It will allow you to walk on water. Or you can say, I want to walk from Trinidad to Caracas. You know, and don't worry about every day. You just put in a big goal, all right, the total goal. She's in hospital because she keeps having problems with the ulcers on her legs. And she needs total bed rest for them to heal. It doesn't record it while you're doing it, Nyasha. All right. What you're going to do is you're going to do as much as you can, and then you can put in how many miles you did. All right. You can physically put in that you did half a mile today on your elliptical, or you did 200 steps. You can put them in steps if you want. No, you do as much as you feel comfortable with. I want to tell you, I do mine in 10-minute bursts and 20-minute bursts. I either do 10 minutes or 20. Well, 15. All right, that's all I've been doing, but do it every day. Right? You get to choose what you do. If you only want to do 5 minutes a day, that's fine. It'll automatically work out how long that journey will take you. Does that make sense? If you say, I want to start here and I want to finish in this town here, and they're both in Trinidad, that's awesome. All right. And you can take as long as you like with it. You're only in competition with yourself, nobody else. It's not about a competition. It's just about a journey. We're trying to get more healthy. Does that make sense, Nyasha? Yeah, you can do this. And it's fun to do. You get so, I cannot tell you how excited we get. I want to tell you that for some reason, my program didn't update when it should have done. And I was waiting to cross a road to get to Campbell River Store. I was just across the wrong side of the road from it. And for some reason, the program wasn't picking it up properly. And I cannot tell you how long. I was so frustrated. I just wanted to get to Campbell River Store. And at the moment, I'm busy walking along Zero Avenue, Nana, and I'm trying to, because you can actually put in little notes for people. And I was putting in my notes for people today that, you know, just so everybody knew, on my right at Zero Avenue, as I walk along Zero Avenue, to my right, there is a ditch. If I wanted to be stupid, I could stand with one leg on one side of that ditch because it's small and one leg on the other. And I would have one leg in Canada and one leg in the United States. Now, you see, we're all adding little bits in like this to make the journey fun for the other people who are watching, because how many people would know that you could physically do that in one part of the border where I live? You know, it doesn't have a dirty great fence there. You can literally walk across. Now, I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure that they've got electronic surveillance on it, but so I wouldn't be doing that physically, but literally it's possible. Yeah, Jody was very pleased when I eventually made it to Campbell River Store. She was getting fed up with waiting for it. So I'm heading into Aldergrove at the moment. That's where I think I'm in that area now. So join us if you'd like to, don't if you don't, and that's fine. It really, I want to tell you something, Nana, it really is fun to do. It's surprising, actually, and it's surprising how it adds up. You suddenly you think, boy, I didn't realize I'd walk that far. Well, I don't know how you'd walk along with somebody else virtually. You'd have to be doing the same route as them at the same speed as them. And I think that would be stupid to do because you don't have the same ability as somebody else. But what we do is that we can all see what the other one's doing. I tell you, when I get up in the morning, the first thing I want to see is, how did Lauren do yesterday? Where did she get past the golf course yet? I want to tell you, it gets really interesting. Jody, has she passed the KFC yet? Because I'm, I think she should pop in there for us, and get us some. But it's like, but also it's like a tourist thing because I didn't. Yeah, it's fascinating, Nana. It really is. I want to tell you. So let us know. What we did is when we signed up and it was working, then what we did is we sent the link. So Nyasha, if you want to do this and you get it set up, send me the link and I will share it if you would like. I will share it with Jody and Lauren, who are presently doing it as well. And if we get enough people signed up, then you could walk in one spot because you could count the number of steps you do. Yes. You can walk. I've got one day I was trying to put some extra steps in and I had an area rug in my bedroom. I walked around it, just around the rug for about 200 steps. You can do whatever you like. So understand, you don't need to cheat. You don't need to, do more than you can. You just do what you want to do. It's interesting. However slowly you move or however much you move, it's equally interesting. Yes, and how else in the world would Jody ever have known, about Campbell River Store? And I would never have known about Gill Park, which, by the way, is a baseball park in their area. And we're just like, oh, look at that. They got Gill Park there. But it gets to be interesting. And I don't know about the rest of you. I find other people's, where they live, fascinating. I'm pretty sure that everybody's going to be really interested when I start to climb up those Rockies, And they'll be asking me, do you have your winter clothes with you, Sal? No, you can't. Well, I suppose you could stand outside the stores in Street View. What I did, Nyasha, is I actually, I got a picture of Campbell River Store and sent it to them so they could see what it looked like. There's so much that is so possible today. We don't have any excuses not to do this and have a lot of fun doing it. Good night, Nana. Give Rick a big New Year's hug from me. And to all of you, thank you for being here. I hope the extra broadcast cheered your life up a little bit. Be careful of those bears. Yes, absolutely, as I go. Yeah, I'm, as I eventually I will get to your neck of the woods, Tyler. I'll let you know when I'm sort of, parallel to you guys. Yeah, I want to tell you that heating pad and the massage are going to be very important as I try to make it up the Rockies. Yeah, actually, it actually doesn't give you, I think it does give you the elevation as well. I'll have to check on that one. All right, everybody, have a super evening. Anybody know what day it is yet? Is it Tuesday or Wednesday today? I'm so confused. I think it's Tuesday, right? Still for me anyway. So I will see you all on Friday. Where are the Rockies? All right, let me tell you, Nyasha, I'll make it really easy for you. I am walking across the whole of British Columbia from west to east British Columbia. If you want to check it out, I'm walking from White Rock, which is where I live, in that area. If you go into Google Maps, and they're both in British Columbia, Canada. Oh no, I lie. Calgary actually isn't in British Columbia, but you know, it's in Alberta. But I'm actually literally trying to walk across my province, which is about 650 miles, I think. 1/2 mile at a time. And it's really amusing me. Yep. So do you want to see what it looks like? Nyasha, I can show you quickly. Now that I finished the broadcast per se. So what we have, there we go. Hang on one second. I can show you exactly what it looks like. So at any time, you can bring up a map and it will show you how you're doing. I'm just going to get my map working for you first of all. And when I've done that, oh, rats. I hate it when I do that. Hang on. Okay. Can you see? That's how it shows up. Yeah, Isabel, you bet you can. Isn't that fun? So, you know, it just, yeah. Have you got a computer, Isabel? Well, you must have a computer, or even a smartphone you can do it on. Yeah, I can get it on my smartphone. Yeah, the Rockies is that big mountain range that goes through just before the coast, the west coast of Canada and the US. So here's the thing. If you get set up and I want to tell you, it's such fun, Isabel. When you decided the route that you want to take and you've got it set up, send me the link. And if you would like me to, I will share it with the other people who are also doing it. And then we will share ours with you. So, you know, if you've got anybody in particular you want to track, we can do that if they give permission. Basically, when you set your route, try not to do it from your house. I set mine from the end of the pier, you know, which is about 5 kilometers away from me, so that, you know, there's no privacy issue here. Everybody knows I live where I live anyway, so that doesn't matter. But I don't have to show them exactly where I live. All right. I've got it on my tablet. I just showed you on a tablet, and I can even do it on my phone. It's such fun. Isabel, where do you live? We're going to learn so many wonderful places. All right, I'm about to close the broadcast. So if you've got any more questions, ask them quickly while we're still here. And if you need to ask any more questions after the broadcast has ended, you can always write to me at DearMamaSal@gmail.com, Isabel. All right, and I'll try and help you that way if you need help. Actually, I'm wondering whether I should put a page up on the DearMamaSal website. Think about that, Jody. It wouldn't be infringing anybody's privacy too much, would it? And we could just put, you're in Quebec. What a beautiful city to show people. I think Quebec was one of my favorite cities to visit. It's just so romantic, and the architecture is just mind-blowing. Oh, guys, if you haven't seen Quebec, you know. Yeah, I think I'm going to, Jody, yeah, in my spare time. All right, I'm going to set up a My Virtual Mission page. And everybody who wants to, I'll put the links up there. I'll add them on there so you can check on anybody that you want to. How's that? And then what we'll do, yeah, there's 3 minutes a month, yep. When I'm not doodling. Now, I turned over a fresh page today, and this is how much is on it already. Scary, but I'm going for the blood test tomorrow. I don't care what it is I want to do. I'm going to go for my blood test. Oh, I want to tell you, Isabel, you're going to have such fun. I want to tell you, we have found it fascinating. It really is. And it really is rewarding as well. It makes you want to go out and do it. Is what in India? You mean, can you walk across India? Oh, Quebec. Oh, I want to tell you something, Nasha. It's such fun to do. You can walk anywhere. If you want to walk across India, go right ahead. Where Quebec is in Canada. Well, they don't want to be necessarily, but they are in Canada still at the moment, as far as I know. It's one of the provinces of Canada. It's sort of towards Pat's neck of the woods. Now, I don't know about the rest of you, but I think Pat should be helping us here because, you know, she lives on a very important part of, you don't know where Pat lives. You know, you're going to learn lots of geography. Pat lives in Newfoundland, and I'm walking, Isabel. I'm walking from White Rock in BC, which is, you know, south of Vancouver, to Calgary. It's going to take me nearly 3 years, I think, and I'm going to walk up the Rockies and down again. So, guys, well, I need to go, but anyway, you all get the idea, and we will be updating each other. Jody, I would like to get that page up sooner rather than later because I think we're going to have a lot of people as we go along that are going to want to join in, and we might as well do it all together and have one page where we know if we want to check how, you know, Manon's doing in France or something, that we can go there and check it out. And, you know, maybe, you know, we can get screenshots for people as well. Yeah, you're really late. And I'm literally been on for 2 hours and 15 minutes now, Becca. So Happy New Year to you, and know that we are, the whole group of us are walking on my virtual mission, and we're going to start a club. We'll see you on Friday, Ty. Always a pleasure to see you, honey, and I can still see you with your hat on. I'm sad that it was your brother's birthday, but you'll forgive me on this one, but I think you're nearly through the first of everything. Am I correct on that one, Becca? So I big goals. Yeah, we've all got big goals. I'm walking to Calgary is a big goal, don't you think, Isabel? From the Pacific Ocean to Calgary, walking. Well, have you been through a year since his death yet? You must be getting closer. The reason I say that is from my experience of loss, the first year is the most difficult in lots of ways. The first birthday without, the first Christmas without, the first, whatever without it was always the most difficult. Yeah, almost. That's what I thought. It was almost a year now. Yeah. And it doesn't get easier in lots of ways, Becca, but the second year doesn't hurt quite as much. You will always be sad, right? Because you miss your brother. And that's okay. All right, everybody, have a super 2019. Make it as happy and as healthy as you can make it. And we'll help each other get healthier and fitter this year. That sounds like the goal of this year. A lot of people would like to get more fit. So let's do it and let's have some fun and learn a lot of geography along the way. This is Dear Mama Soul saying thank you so much for being here. Bye-bye for now. Bye. I think if I can work out how to close this thing. Yeah, there we go.